A new front: North Korean troops clash with Ukrainian forces in Russia. The war in Ukraine has taken a dramatic turn with the confirmation of clashes between Ukrainian and North Korean troops on Russian soil. This unprecedented development marks a significant escalation in the conflict and raises concerns about its potential to spill over into a wider global confrontation. The presence of North Korean troops fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine is a testament to the increasingly complex web of alliances and rivalries that define the 21st century. The international community is watching closely as events unfold, wary of the potential for further escalation and the devastating consequences that a wider conflict would entail. The situation demands a measured and coordinated response, one that prioritizes diplomacy and de-escalation, while ensuring accountability for all parties involved. The Pentagon's report: a shift in the geopolitical landscape. The Pentagon has confirmed the deployment of North Korean troops to Russia's Kursk region, marking the first time North Korean forces have been directly involved in a European conflict since World War II. This development has sent shockwaves through the international community, raising questions about the Kremlin's intentions and the potential for the conflict to escalate beyond Ukraine's borders. According to U.S. intelligence estimates, up to 12,000 North Korean combat troops have been sent to aid Russia under a pact that underscores the deepening military cooperation between the two countries. The deployment is seen as a sign of desperation on the part of Moscow, which has faced stiff resistance from Ukrainian forces and mounting casualties since its invasion began in February 2022. The conflict has exposed the growing rift between Russia and the West while also underscoring the deepening ties between Moscow and Beijing as well as Pyongyang. A historic engagement. Implications for global security. The clashes between Ukrainian and North Korean troops in Russia represent a watershed moment in the conflict, marking the first time that forces from these two nations have engaged in direct combat. This development has far-reaching implications for global security, potentially altering the dynamics of the war in Ukraine and beyond. North Korea's military capabilities are shrouded in secrecy, and its troops are known for their unwavering loyalty to the regime and their willingness to engage in unconventional warfare tactics. The presence of North Korean forces on the battlefield raises concerns about the potential for the conflict to escalate beyond Ukraine's borders. Section 4. Challenges and uncertainties. Navigating a complex battlefield. The deployment of North Korean troops to Ukraine presents a number of challenges and uncertainties for all parties involved. The integration of foreign fighters into the Russian military structure is likely to be complex, particularly given the language barrier and cultural differences that exist. The combat effectiveness of North Korean troops is also difficult to assess. While North Korea has a large standing army, its equipment is often outdated, and its troops have limited experience in modern warfare. The presence of North Korean troops on the battlefield also raises concerns about human rights abuses. There is a risk that their involvement in the conflict could lead to further suffering for the Ukrainian people. Section 5. Russia's advance and Ukraine's defense: a war of attrition. Despite facing stiff resistance from Ukrainian forces and mounting casualties, Russia continues to make incremental gains in eastern Ukraine. The Kremlin has shifted its focus to the Donbas region, where it is engaged in a grinding war of attrition, with the goal of wearing down the Ukrainian military and capturing key strategic territory. Russia's advance has been slow and costly, but it has managed to make some headway in recent weeks. Ukraine, for its part, has mounted a valiant defense, inflicting heavy losses on the invading Russian forces. Section 6. Calls for support. Ukraine seeks stronger Western assistance. As the war in Ukraine grinds on, Ukrainian officials are intensifying their calls for stronger Western support. They argue that increased military aid, particularly in the form of long-range artillery and air defense systems, is essential to repelling the Russian offensive and defending Ukrainian territory. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been a vocal advocate for increased Western support, delivering impassioned speeches to parliaments and international organizations around the world. The United States and its NATO allies have provided billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine since the start of the conflict. Section 7. The path forward. Diplomacy and de-escalation in a multipolar world. The conflict in Ukraine is a stark reminder of the fragility of peace in the 21st century. It is a conflict with no easy solutions, one that has the potential to escalate into a wider global confrontation with devastating consequences. The path forward requires a commitment to diplomacy and de-escalation. All parties must engage in good faith negotiations aimed at finding a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The international community must also work to address the underlying issues that contributed to the crisis, including the security concerns of both Russia and Ukraine. It is a world that demands a new approach to international relations, one based on dialogue, cooperation, and a shared commitment to peace.